It's so good. So good. I really think that may be my favorite of the musical themes that we've had so far on the channel. We've had so many great ones, but oh man, does that thing get me hyped. I freaking love that song. Welcome everybody. Welcome Arvanauts to an unusual Sunday night stream. It is day 4 of Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks. We are sponsored as always by Alligator Alley Entertainment. We want to thank them, and we especially want to thank all of you for stopping by on Sunday as we continue in day 4 of The Final Command, as we continue with this opening section of our campaign. I hope you're as excited as I am for this. The full crew is here, and before we get into introducing them, just a couple of quick notes about how to support us here on the channel. If you haven't done so already, please follow us here on the channel. Please check out our YouTube with !ArvTube. Thank you to those of you who have subscribed to that of late. The numbers have begun to tick back up, which is lovely. Anyone else who could subscribe there would be much appreciated. It's free for you to do that, but it definitely helps us out. And that way you can see past broadcasts of this and many other streams that we have on the channel. If you have not already done so, please consider as well checking out my Twitter and following me there. That's !ArvTweets, where I'll always post when we're going live and stuff like that. And of course, !ArvCord, the Discord channel where you can hang out with the Arvanauts in between streams. Website for all of this is arvaneleron.com. Financially, we have !ArvShop, the merchandise area where you can get Adventures in Middle-earth and Infinity and Beyond merchandise, and soon to be, I hope, Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks. I got to get back to the Alligator Alley guys about doing some of that. So there's that going on. We have got !Arvtreon, which is the Patreon, currently sitting at 19 patrons, $1.90 per month. That really is the financial backbone of the channel, and it makes it possible for us to do lots of stuff, including supporting our players. And I'm going to talk more about supporting, they supports the R vocalists, but I also want to talk about something else regarding supporting the players and cheering tonight, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. And of course, on the publishing side, !Icarus. Oh, sorry, I forgot about subbing. That's important. Subbing to the channel, which allows you to get those custom sub badges and emotes to use everywhere across Twitch. You can also get inspirations to help the players, as well as inspirations to help the players from the Patreon as well. On the publishing side, !Icarus from the award-winning Athos Arts. !Library is my Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library. That's my 5e adventure and sourcebook from Alligator Alley Entertainment. And of course, I love to see those. I love to see those emotes just lined up like that. And of course, Greyshade, which will get you over to my latest work. Greyshade came out in May 31st, and you can order a copy there. You can also pre-order copies of the 2 sequels, Renegade and Heretic, 2023 and 2024 release dates respectively, and the tabletop role-playing game being designed by Brandon O'Brien, which will also be coming out next year, and Trent Sparks, who is the voiceover aficionado, good friend, good person, multiple role player on this channel, of course, and is the audiobook narrator for Greyshade, so you'll be able to get that as well. It's going to be good times. And if you haven't already done so, please as well remember BLM, Black Lives Matter, very important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. Help Now, the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention, very important to reach out to others when you need help and to reach out to others when they need help as well. And Ukraine, 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 as the people of Ukraine fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war they are fighting with with bravery, with courage, and with conviction, and with success, actually. But still, it has been a devastating war, and this is a chance to jump up on board and to be able to help in our small way, but still significant way as we come together as a community in that regard. Quick note about scheduling. We have got Mysterious Peaks going on tonight, probably only about a 2-hour session tonight, because again, it is a Sunday night. It's a school night, if you will, for me. And so we're only going until, which is I think all we'll need to finish up the final command, depending on what happens, of course, during the session tonight. And then I will be back on Tuesday afternoon with some more Lost and Random, and then we will have some Talisman Adventures over on D&D with GOG. It is D&D, but it's GOG. It's Talisman Adventures as we continue with that campaign that is sponsored by Pegasus Spiele. I'll talk on Tuesday during my stream about what the October schedule looks like. It is mostly fallen into place now, but there are a couple of changes and things that have moved around to accommodate various scheduling and things like that. So you'll be able to check that out as we go through. But tonight, it is more Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks, and so I'm going to unmute myself and apologize for any interruption that I may have given to the no doubt fascinating conversation happening in the green room. And then I'm going to unmute them, and
Zach,
last
you
but
should
certainly not
definitely keep
least,
talking because it's just,
I will head over here to reveal that the webcams have somehow shifted. And
as always,
that always happens. That's fine. There's no
I'm
problem.
the same. And so is Kat.
That's true. It was just Johnny and Toya, but I will fix
We're
that
here for
problem.
trouble.
Right
We're here for
now,
trouble.
they are good. They are back in place. There were no problems. None of you saw anything. It's good to see everyone here. The full crew is here, and I will start with one Mr. Johnny Pittman, who's at the top left of your screen. Johnny, it's good to see you. How is life in the universe with you? I feel like every time we see you broadcasting from these locations, another index card or whatever it is has been added behind you. Like, is this more? Are those more things that are going to be used as pictures for your various endeavors? Like no.
It's not there is a plan. There is a plan for good old Titus and good old Beatrice.
Right.
But you don't get to see that plan until it evolves.
I see.
Like
you're gonna put two index cards together, like you're gonna layer them.
There may be more paper involved. There may be wood involved.
Gonna graduate to an 8.5 by 11. Okay, cool.
I mean, if I get to the point of felt and like dowels and
yes,
that will be like level 20, and this will be sponsored by the Jim Henson company.
No joke. If you get an actual of Titus, I'm gonna be like, sign me up for that. I hope all is well with you. How you doing, and who are you playing tonight, Johnny?
I'm good. And tonight, as far as I know, I am playing. Hold on. Titus is not cooperating. Titus Littlefoot, our healer / whatever. I don't know. He's an engineer, so a level 1 engineer. There's not much he can do, but throw little magic missile kind of things, but not really, and heal. So we'll see how the heals work.
We'll see how the heals work. I'm looking forward to seeing how Titus does his amazing work. I'm also looking forward to seeing how Kat plays her Espergenesis-related character today,
That's right.
and that's Kat Rambo. It's good to see you, Kat. I hope all is well. How are you doing? How's life in the universe with you? No index cards, just book covers.
No index cards, just books floating mysteriously in space behind me. Everything is fine here. I'm kind of winding down the week, thinking about what Monday's going to involve, and looking forward to getting some Espergenesis on, in which I am playing Ziriel Fel Zahali of the Kaemir, a specialist.
A specialist with a ShadowNet ID. Yeah, we were talking about that. There's going to be a whole section. Just wait till we do my whole virtual in the net moment and everything, and we'll get all the people, everyone who's ever done anything relating to Cyberpunk, we'll just bring them on as a surprise, and it'll be good times.
Awesome.
But it's good to see Kat as always, and it's also a pleasure to see Toya with us. And Toya, as we talked about, the lighting is continuing to improve and is always looks good, but is just looking even more. I think Kat's term was spacey. The hair has got the space going on. It fits perfectly. How are you, Toya? How's life in the universe with you, and who are you playing?
Pretty good.
pretty good. Some sad things happened in the old Finley household. We had a 16-year-old dog who crossed the
Oh,
Rainbow Bridge Thursday.
I'm
So
sorry to
So
hear
sorry.
that.
yeah,
Yeah, that's awful.
yeah. But otherwise, I'm doing very well. I don't look like a freak show spotlight anymore, so that's nice. I am tonight, as far as I know as well, playing Dr. Naomi Winterfield, who is an engineer and loves archaeology and has been playing the whole academia game for a very, very long time.
Yep. I was thinking about that when I was just like, it's great to have, we have not one, but two in this crew, academics specifically, two doctors as characters. And I'm like, I will think fondly about this as I'm in a listening session on hiring the new dean of my college on my way home from work tomorrow. So it'll feel, I'm sure it'll be just exactly the same experience. I can't imagine why it'd be any different. Anyway, it's always a pleasure to have Toya with us. And it is also a pleasure to have, last but certainly not least, the inimitable, the one and only Zach Clay, who is with us. Zach, it is good to see you, my friend. How is life in the universe with you? Have you gotten, or maybe you just have the camera differently or something? It feels like you've gotten another Avatar poster. Am I wrong about that? I feel like Johnny gets more index cards and you get no. Okay, all right. I thought it just was like more Avatar posters. I was like, all right. Are you excited? Then your question I'll ask you before you tell me who you're playing. Are you excited about the new details about the new Avatar TV show, which I have heard includes George Takei playing the role of Ko? Are you excited for this?
I am very excited for that. I have not seen Avatar: The Last Airbender in a long time. I made sure to finish that sentence. If I had said I'd never seen it, I don't know if I could live with myself. Yeah, in a long time, probably like since the seasons aired, actually. So,
oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I need to give those a rewatch and mine them for story bits now. Those were the days before I even played D&D, so I'm sure there's some cool stuff. And there's an Avatar RPG that's either coming out or out now. I think
It's already out.
Tried it.
It's already out. Yeah, I've heard good things about it.
So,
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, no, I'm excited for that too. As a Trekkie as well, getting George Takei in there, that'll be cool. So, and in kind of a horrifying character too, that'll be interesting. So, anyway, yes, very exciting. I am Zach. I am a person that does things on the internet. Namely, on this show, I am playing tonight Dr. Jaraxxus, who is a Dendis cybermancer who I keep analogizing to different people in real life, but the analogies really don't work. So he's basically just a social media influencer scientist is the best way I'll put it.
Yeah, that's a subclass, just to be clear.
Yeah, that's the subclass of cybermancer is social media scientist.
Yeah, absolutely. And I
mean, that's not far off.
Yeah.
It is funny to imagine the how sub is that class. We'll see. And Dr. Jaraxxus is also slightly hurt going into this, having been hit by something. Now, chat, for those of you who were not here, I'll talk about this during the recap, but these are level 1 characters. So there was some, minor concern among the players that, they expressed some uneasiness at the prospect of having a split party with a death droid, looking them in the face. I'm sure
Zach and I got this. They decided to wait behind. We got this. We're fine.
Mm-hmm.
With that confident claim made, we will move on to talk about what happened in our last session. And in our last session, chat, for those of you who have not seen this campaign before, as a reminder, there are 2 different groups of characters being played here. One group is the more traditional Dungeons and, well, it's traditional, but like, yeah, exactly. You're playing a beholder that doesn't know it's a beholder. And it's not that traditional. Let's say the characters are really delightful. But they've started to note this conspiracy. There's been an attack. The person who leads the city that they were in apparently has lost his mind and has decided to kill people randomly, or who knows what's going on. But that party is on the run. And so the first half of the Final Command was playing out that portion of the adventure. The second half is the Aspergenesis crew, and that's what this crew is tonight, which is a spacefaring crew that has done other salvage missions and things like that and has worked together in the past. And in that component of the adventure, in the last session, the party met up with a character named Tren, not Trenspool, Sparks, but Tren Peril, who has been hired to investigate a erratic data broadcast, which is coming from this anomaly in Mirius Fen. It's a small star system, kind of in the middle of nowhere. There were apparently ancient civilizations that might have lived there, millennia ago, but there's been no information or anything else coming from there until this data broadcast that began to come out not that long ago, only a few months, let's say. And two megacorporations have sent agents to investigate. One of those megacorporations has hired Tren, and Tren, in turn, the Eldori scientist, has hired these four, Jaraxxus and Ziriel and Titus and Dr. Naomi Winterfield, to find out what exactly is happening and to basically escort Tren there, and then to see if they can find out what's going on with this data broadcast. So the party had to, first of all, deal with a cosmic storm that was around the freighter. They managed to get through that with a little bit of difficulty, arrived and found that the freighter itself was basically just this ancient star cruiser, a derelict, that there were some strange markings, but they were unfamiliar and beyond the knowledge even of the incredibly experienced group of those who have decipher language like Dr. Winterfield and the like. And so they decided that they would send two of their characters, Titus and Dr. Jaraxxus, on board while Dr. Winterfield and Ziriel stayed on board the Runewake, which is the name of the ship they took, to basically explore things from the outside. After a slight difficulty with the hatch of the derelict, and by slight I mean it blew outwards and nearly took off the head of Dr. Jaraxxus, who is currently sitting at 4 out of 9 hit points, they managed to make their way inside the freighter, where they discovered that there was it was a dark kind of place. The lights were out, there was no power. They have, by the way, environmental modulators and mag boots, so basically kind of a thin, essentially covering of environmental air and pressure, so as to survive the cold of space. They are in that area, and meanwhile the other two are inside. Dr. Jaraxxus and Titus first made their way up, found a couple of computer screens, which were also basically not functional. And the only real detectable, one other note I should make, which is that there were heavy score marks as if this star cruiser had been in a battle on the outside. More troubling to the crew was the fact that there were also score marks on the inside, as if someone or some ones had been attempting to get out of the ship at some point. Unclear as to what that meant. Finally, the two made their way to a sealed door, which led to apparently the rear of the ship, the rear storage bay. And there was a keypad and scanner. I believe they were able to hotwire it, if I remember correctly. Although correct me if I'm wrong, to open the door. And when the door opened, it revealed a storage bay with strange patterns, a 5-foot wide computer panel, piles of debris and empty storage, and in the center of the room, a 5-foot wide metal platform decorated with strange symbols and carvings, atop which was a 3-foot tall cylindrical device with a domed top with flashing lights and circuitry, clearly the source of the data broadcast. As they entered the room, there was what looks like an emergency generator in the back of the room, and as they walked past this domed thing, and it rose from the floor and revealed itself to have mechanical arms, legs, and energy weapons, while from the ceiling, 2 6-inch diameter orb-shaped drones with blades for wings also emerged from the ceiling. And so, as the party is there with 2 people in that room and 2 people in the ship going, what the hell is that? We are going to have everybody please for me as I pull up the turn tracker.
We forgot an important
part of
what happened. Yeah, I started to question my good old friend about what was going on.
That's true.
And then he suddenly got real quiet in the session. And
I think, well, yes. Were you questioning Tren, or were you? I don't remember who you were questioning.
Our client.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Tren.
Yeah.
Right. You were just starting to question him, and that's right, I did sort of end it on a cliffhanger. But I believe you had asked whether or not, you were basically asking about what was going on in the ship. So I can tell you, I'll tell you this for free before initiative even starts, that Tren says, It looks to me like there's an energy disruption. Oh, actually, he has a southern accent. It looks to me like there's an energy disruption over there, and I don't much like the look of it. So there is some energy disruption, which is confirmed by the two of your companions who are like, I believe you said something to the effect of something has come alive over here. So I should say that Tren does not seem to be trying to keep things from you as much as he doesn't know exactly what's going on from what you can tell, Dr. Winterfield. But we will see if that turns out to be the case.
Yes, we shall.
So I'm going to fire up some combat music, and then I am going to I'm going to ask.
Can I confirm initiative is it's a D20 plus our dex modifier?
That's right. Usually, yes, that's right. Sometimes you have
Ooh.
benefits to your initiative from other like feats and things, but that's basically the idea. Okay, not that. Let's go with this. Okay. While you're all doing that, I am going to pull up one other bit of music, which is that's what I needed. I need Fight for the Future. That's what I need.
No.
We all need Fight for the Future, right? We need to
No.
fight for our
No.
right to
No.
party. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Okay.
Well, I'm going last.
Okay. Now let's go back over and see what we've got. Oh, right. I don't need to put it the turn order for the moment because I don't yet have you on a map. Because all this has been theater of the mind. I don't have map stuff for the ships. And besides, space is down to quote Ender. The enemy's gate is down. Okay. So what we have right here, chat, is, as you might be able to see, but they kind of went by pretty quickly. So we have Titus with the initiative that only fear can provide with a 22. We have Zerial with the initiative that only a experienced specialist with knowledge of these things can provide. Then we have Dr. Jaraxis with the somewhat limited initiative that only someone who is too busy focusing on capturing video content can provide. And of course, last but certainly not least, a 5 from Dr. Winterfield with the lack of initiative that can happen only from someone who is glaring at Tren to try to find out, tell me what I need to know, type of thing.
That does not include the dex bonus, but it doesn't matter.
No, but it should. I should know that though, because it might matter with the other creatures. So what is your dex bonus?
Where do I find that?
What is your dexterity? Let's put it that way.
My dexterity is 11, so like I said, it doesn't matter.
Okay, then you're right. Then that's 0. Okay, so you are gonna have that right. So let me just move everyone into the right spot. Okay. All right. So the first to act here is going to. Oh, actually, maybe I should roll initiative for that group itself. It would be nice to know when they get to go, right? I'm sure we'd all like to know.
Yep.
When they
I would
actually
definitely
get
like to know what Tren's going to do.
Plight of the DM.
That's right. He rams it into overdrive and abandons. No, I'm just kidding. It's like history repeating itself with what's her face that did that before in the Esper Genesis campaign. The NPC. Okay. Let's see. This is. Ooh, that is a solid roll from one of these groups, but not solid enough in this case. And let's find out what's going on with that. 1. Wow. All right. Well, I got my good rolls out of the way for initiative party, so it'll be fine. Okay.
I'll fine.
What is your Titus? What's your dexterity? Your raw score?
My raw score is 18.
Okay. So. Okay. All right. So that means you are going to be the first one who gets to react, Titus. So you are going to be up first. And again, you can see this thing has just risen from its place on the pedestal, but it has these energy guns and things like that. You can also see the blade drones that are above in the ceiling. Now this area, remember, is 30 feet by 20 feet. So you do have some room to maneuver. There are some piles of debris and the like. So there's those things to kind of consider. But otherwise, and of course you could also theoretically run back out again, but it is between you and the I don't remember if it was actually you or if it was Dr. Jaraxxus that walked towards the generator. I think it was you, Titus, because I think you proceeded right. So you're actually still not that far from the from the generator thing that you saw at the back. What would you like to do?
Okay, I'm sorry. I just want to reconfirm a couple things about this situation.
So no problem. It's been a little while.
Well, it's that, and I'm also I'm slightly sick, so I'm having some trouble. I'm having some trouble like keeping coherent thought in my head right now. All right, so we've got this main machine, and then we've got this main construct or whatever automaton, and then we've got two drones, right? And they're hovering above at the ceiling.
That's correct. They are sphere shaped, but they have for wings, so to speak, they have blades.
And I'm probably halfway or more to that side of the room, so 10 to 15 feet,
right,
towards where the generator or where the panel is that I was heading for.
That's correct. That's right. And actually, you're probably closest to the center pillar. I'm sure you're happy to hear. Although you're not close enough where you would provoke an attack of opportunity or anything. You're not in melee range yet for those things.
Okay. And
hey, Rock God. I did not know that.
Can you remind me, or can Zach? Do you remember how did we open the door?
I think I broke it open with I used a plasma torch and a micro tool set to hack the data pad.
Yep.
Right. Hack it or ruin it?
No, you hotwired it. You didn't ruin it.
Yes. I think it was wires. I think it was mechanics rather than computers.
Yep.
So in my imagination, the data pad panel on the door in the hallway is like broken open and wires are hanging loose.
Exactly. Yep.
But in the hallway. Yeah.
All right. So one final question. Is the construct that's coming out from the center pillar, climbing out from behind it, is it coming out of any particular slot? And can I see what if it's connected to any wires or anything?
It's coming from the center of the pillar, actually, and it's rising up directly out of it. So it was basically set so that all you could see was the dome, and then the classic robot. In The Mandalorian, the creature gets up, and it turns out it's a full, like, it's not R2-D2, it's a full rowing thing that like rows the ship down. And that's basically what this is, except that it's spindly legs and arms, and looks terrifying, frankly. You don't know that you've ever seen anything quite like this. The metal gleams on its legs from the reflected light.
Okay. Titus takes the situation in, turns around, and says, "All right, we got a hot wire in this. We get this closed. Winterfield, Zarel, we need you." And then darts towards Zach's character. I'm sorry, I'm not remembering the name right now. But darts towards and keeps just saying, "We got to hot wire this. We got to hot wire this. Close it." Right, and you just see Titus like, zooming towards you, and so Titus is going to use his move. He moves 25, and so he's gonna use his move to get back through the door and try to assist to getting the door to close again.
Okay.
Jaraxxus would because if you're using your action to try to help me, but Jaraxxus has the opposite in mind.
You just run past each other in opposite directions.
In the sense that in the sense that I don't know if I'd have the opportunity to strategize like this, but Jaraxxus, his intention this next turn is to do something to try to keep the constructs at bay while you hack the door closed. Are you terrible at mechanics?
You know what? I don't remember right now. I am not terrible at mechanics.
Yeah, you were the pilot getting here, right?
Well, I am the pilot, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm good at
necessarily.
actually fixing things.
True.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna run up, and as I'm saying that, I'm just gonna start. Wait, we're still dealing with grab anti-grav, or we're still
Mag
like
boots.
we've still got our grab boots on, and there's no
and I want to
gravity.
make a
Okay.
note about that. So I want to make a note about that, by the way. The mag boots are going to slow you down a little bit. They're going to slow you down by about 5 feet. So if your normal movement is 25, it's 20, because you do have to like clank, along the way. I could be cruel about it and half the distance, but I don't think so. I think it's reasonable to take off a little. So you
Come on,
can't go
Greg. You
quite
know
as
you
far.
want that TPK. You want that first one
I
under your
don't.
belt.
You
just want to tuck it in there and be like, this is the way to do it. No, okay. So Titus is going to run across, and it's about he's halfway there, or almost more than halfway there. He's going to run back, but it's going to be in a situation where he's going to get through the door in that and that's got to be under 20 feet, and then immediately he's going to let go, and try to mount himself on that panel, because I'm sure it's taller than him since he's 2 feet tall.
You could say that's probably true.
And
now, okay,
he's just
go
going
ahead.
to try to attach himself to the wall and just then try to start hot wiring it.
Okay, so you're able to get back. I think if you're, yeah, I would say that you're able to get back out and at least get yourself up onto the wires. Now, there is one thing I'll mention. This is one of those, like, you can do this, but there's a risk. If when you get to the panel, unless Dr. Jaraxxus is going to stay and help you, then you're going to have to kind of climb up. Now, the mag boots do a lot, but the mag boots aren't necessarily like, I don't know how to describe this. Like, you can't go up on the mag boots and then like bend over halfway to pull, if you follow what I'm saying. Like, if the boots have you this way, you won't be able to pull the way around. So what you could do, because the panel is dangling by wires, is you could use the panel to basically get yourself up close enough where you could then grab onto the opening and then hot wire with your other hand. The danger, though, is that you might, in doing that, yank the wires out completely. You don't know, because these are ancient, right? So you don't know what the condition of these wires is. There hasn't been much corrosion, it appears. Maybe drifting in the vacuum of space has been good for that. But other than that, I'm just letting you know, it's not a guarantee that you will, but you might rip the wires out by using it. Other than that, it's not clear how you're going to get up to that panel unless Dr. Jaraxxus helps you.
Okay. Then am I rolling that at a disadvantage if I do that?
No, I wouldn't say
Okay.
disadvantage. It just means you have to make a check to do it, and if you fail the check, then there will be consequences.
Titus has already communicated what he's going to communicate in the situation, so he's just going to try to do it. If
Okay. Then
Jaraxxus decides to get involved, then great.
I'm sure he will get involved by showing in great detail what you're doing for all of his fans. Okay. So let me have you then make for me, please, a dexterity check. I'll take acrobatics if you have this. I will take that.
Okay, acrobatics. All right. Hold on a second. I don't have acrobatics, sadly, but I do have dexterity, so let's do this.
And don't forget, chat, inspirations are a thing. I haven't reset them for this month, but you could do that.
Yeah, how about an 8?
So, so you reach up. So this is what happens. You basically, you pull yourself, and for a minute, you're like, this is a great plan. And you kind of swing around. But as you swing around to get your boot up so you can lift your hand up, you hear a, and there is a spark, and the door goes and stops halfway. So Dr. Jaraxxus, you're like, now you can still see the door is still open far enough for you to get through, for the creatures to get through. Like, it's still, but it is sort of stopped halfway. But what it's doing now is as if it's like So it is not what you would call a stable situation.
That was a spectacular impression of a mechanical door opening and
Thank
closing.
you.
That was pretty good.
So that's the situation that you're in. However, you are now up and you'll be able to start hot wiring as of next turn, Titus. Okay, that's going to lead us
fine.
to...
Fine.
This is totally fine.
It's fine.
Now the bad guys go, because I told you they rolled really, really well. Okay. So the first one to go, or the first group to go, is going to be the two, I guess what you could call them as blade drones, basically, who are up top. And what the drones are going to do first is they are going to sink down, and then they are going to head in your direction. Now, they're not super fast, but they're not like, it's not going to take them 10 minutes. They move up, and their blades start to like as they are moving in your direction. You would guess, Dr. Draxus, that they will get to you next turn. They're about halfway there now. You also think you see two at the bottom, almost what look like very small laser lights that also seem to be glowing brighter and brighter.
Awesome.
So that's what's going on. Then the other guy goes. I told you they rolled really well. So this one gets up, and it is large, and it comes towards you, and then it moves and fires at the person that's right in the way, which I think would be Dr. Duraxis, actually.
Yes.
Okay. That is going to be... That is a 6 to hit. I'm pretty sure that's not going to hit you.
Luckily, no.
So you managed to dodge. I would actually, I think what happens is it probably hits the half-closed door and ricochets off. And it's moving towards you. And as it moves towards you, you hear this bzzz, 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 as it's basically walking towards you. Okay, that's going to lead us to Ziriel. Ziriel, you have heard shots. You've heard, we've got to hotwire it. And then you've heard some sparking and maybe what might pass for, I don't know if Titus ever actually curses. He's in such a good mood, but some language that's coming out from the Zek. There is some bad stuff going down on board that other ship.
Well, I'll thumb the comm and say, what's going on over there?
Robots. It's about all I get out as I duck under a blade.
Yeah, and you hear robots along with...
Wow. I'm looking at my skill list to see if there's anything that I can do from afar. Is there any way I can hack in to try to remotely control drones in this other place, or is that just totally...
You gotta get closer if you're gonna do that. You don't even know that there are drones, just robots right now. So you'd have to actually be in a place where you could see them at least.
Well, then we'd have to suit up to go over there, wouldn't we?
You already have been given the modulators though, so those
Okay.
things and the mag boots. So it's just a matter of getting there. You would need to go across. It would probably take you, because it's about like 50. It'd take you probably about 2 turns if you moved at top speed to get to where they are, I would say.
Well, I'm going to take off and start heading. I'm going to say to Dr. Winterfield, they need help. And I'm going to just dart on off out in my move.
And okay, so you do that, and next to go is Dr. Jaraxis. So I should say, by the way, your double move means that you would, it means that Ziriel would probably get to, I would say, halfway across the airlock bridge, that has been established between the Runewake and the freighter. And so you can see the broken down wreck of a door on one side of your, closer to the Runewake, actually, inside this passageway, as you mag booted about halfway across, is what I would say, Ziriel. Now, going on to Dr. Duraxis. Dr. Duraxis, you're up next. You've got these 2 drones are going to be on you next turn, and the mechanoid creature is moving towards you.
Okay. Dr. Duraxis will back up and say, "Oh, can't we talk this out?" And is gonna back up towards the door. And as I do, I will. Those two smaller drone bots, are they within 5 feet of each other?
Yeah, I would say yes right now. Yes.
Okay, but the larger one in front of me is
A little further
obviously
back
in
from
front of
them.
me, a little further back. From
Right.
them. Okay. Or they're further back from.
They're further
us.
back. The Mecharoid will probably catch them by next turn, theoretically, if it goes at the same pace.
Okay. I will. Oh gosh. All right. Well, in that case, I mean, those things are going pretty slow. Okay. I'm going to look at this big robot in front of me that just struck me, because this one's right in front of me, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Do I know if this is?
Tried to strike you, in fairness.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Missed you.
Do I know if this is a construct or an automaton? Is there
It is an
any way I can
automaton, almost certainly.
Okay.
Yeah,
tell? And the other two are constructs, probably.
that would be your guess.
Okay, that's gonna change things.
Also, this is a large automaton. The other two are medium, if you were curious.
Great.
Dr. Duraxis,
Yes?
Dr. Winterfield speaks Alamu. So if you could somehow get video, you know, you're so very fond of streaming,
I'm showing you
you
right
could
now.
actually
Blair Witch
Get
Project, like, you know.
one
Yes.
of these automatons to talk.
I'm not sure if they are up for it.
Bzzz.
I'll feed you through, but I say, well, the thing that I've got, as I hold out some sort of like transparent card, and it flashes and does nothing to the automaton. He says, "This only works for the ones in the back. I need to get away from you. Goodbye." And if I could I use a full action to disengage? I know that you do the 5-foot step, but could I do the tradition, like the 5e disengage, where
you can disengage 5 feet and then do your other movement to
Okay,
move
great.
after you've disengaged. Yes, you could do that.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
But where are you
and-
headed, though?
Well, out of this room.
So you're going back out.
Yeah, because otherwise I'm behind a half-open door with these three constructs.
Okay. Yep. Fair.
And is that that uses my action though to take that 5-foot step back?
No, the 5-foot step back would just be your movement. If you then run past it, that's your full turn,
Got it.
basically.
Okay.
So
And the 5-foot step doesn't take me out of the door. Does
no, the 5-foot step would take you right to the door because you
Got it.
were pretty
Okay.
close to it.
You're right. Okay. Yeah, I'll. Ugh. Yeah, I don't want to be trapped in here. I'm gonna 5-foot step back, and then use my action to move out of the room.
Okay.
And
You pass Titus hanging on for dear life to the panel as like sparking, sparks are coming out of it and stuff.
yeah, I look at Titus and I say, "Are we gonna be able to use that, or did you mess it up?"
It helped if you'd really been like involved, but I'm just doing the best that I can at this point. Where are you going?
Should we stay to try to continue this, or run?
You can run if you want. I'm gonna try to close this door first. We need more time. Maybe get in that ship and just get the hell out of here.
All right, I need to get this on video at the very least. I'll stay with you. And I stay behind. I will, because I know Titus has taken very little damage from my muck up earlier with the door, blasting the door open.
Mm-hmm.
I will not necessarily impose myself in between Titus and anything else. In fact, I'll put myself in a prime recording position, almost a selfie style, to get myself and Titus and anything that comes out the door. But that's my whole turn.
Awesome. Just having the image of like, all right, we're here. Like, anyway,
Yes, robots.
it's gonna be great. Okay, that leads us to Dr. Winterfield. So it is you and Tren left on the bridge right now, Dr. Winterfield, and meanwhile, Ziriel has sprinted to get onto the other ship, and you have, so far, you know what else is going on, which seems to be a lot of shooting and yelling, from what you can tell.
So Winterfield turns to Trend and says, I have always known you to be a gentleman, a man of honor. Was I wrong?
And he says, well, I don't understand what you mean. I try to be a man of honor. Why?
Then you had better tell me right now everything you know, and perhaps find within your memory anything that you may have forgotten to tell us. Because my crewmates are in dire danger right now.
I don't know any more than you do. There was this signal that was broadcasting. It's still broadcasting. Whatever they're dealing with in there, that's the source of the broadcast. I don't know any more than you do about it.
And who sent you? Why did you come to us?
We've already been through this. I hired you because we were hired to go find this thing. And I was doing it for the company that we work for. You know the drill with that.
Yes, I do. And they don't always tell you the truth either.
Well, they might.
Do they have any ulterior motives whatsoever? Can you think of anything, please?
I can't. And he sort of like, you know, he's like, I don't know. I mean, the other corporation couldn't be here yet, and I don't even know what the hell's going on over there. It could be nothing at all. I mean, it's obviously something, but I mean, it could be nothing at all from them. It's also possible they found old technology, old dangerous technology that sounded like robots. There's been robots for millennia.
What other company, Trend?
Well, there's two of them. One of them is the Eternus Megacore. They're the ones that were the rival company coming this way. And then there's ours, and ours is the part where the GM notes that he has forgotten who hired you people. But anyway, Eternus is the rival corporation.
Eternus may have gotten here first.
I would have seen them. There's nothing around this ship. There's no ship around here. There's nothing else.
Well, something's happened, Trent.
I know that. That's why people need to get over there. I mean, I could, you know, and he sort of is like, but someone needs to pilot the ship. I mean, I could go over there and you stay here at the helm.
I'm going to calm my crewmates. Here is the situation, everyone. Someone needs to be here to pilot the ship. I trust myself to do that. Trend can join you, or would you rather I come over there?
In Tren fight?
I mean, as much as any of you can, I suppose. I'm a scientist, not a fighter, but I can fire a gun.
This is the same as me. Get over here.
All right, and he looks at you, and I don't remember if Naomi, if Dr. Winterfield had piloting like skill or anything like that. You weren't.
I believe so. I have I'm a 5 astrophysics. I have a bonus of 5 in astrophysics. Would that connect to that?
Not necessarily. Certainly you would know enough to be like, hold the thing straight as it goes there. So like, so he's basically just like, hold this, and he like, you know, hands this over and watch those, and like hands over the video screens, and he grabs a blaster from the side. We also have a raid from Exploding Dice. What's up, Askren? I have not seen you for a while.
Hey.
Yeah, I was gonna say back in the day. Thank you for the raid, everybody. Welcome.
Nice to see you.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Charon's Hammer, and of course Exploding Dice. Good to see you, man. Former member in good standing of Masters of the Dungeon, of course, and artist extraordinaire, and DM as well, and GM. Good to see you. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. So, so he basically, you know, grabs his gun and heads out. You've got the con, so to speak. Are you doing anything, Dr. Winterfield, specifically with the ship, or like, you know, with trying to monitor stuff as you are, or are you just sort of keeping the ship where it is? Obviously, you're not going to fly away with it, but I mean,
Yeah, I don't think I have any talents that are particularly useful right now.
okay,
So I'm going to continue to monitor the situation from what little I can see. I know Draxus has the stream going, so Dr. Winterfield can see that,
yes,
and I'll monitor everything that's going on outside the ship as well, because somebody's been here.
yeah. And now that, by the way, now that you're looking at that video feed, you can see Dr. Draxus is doing the equivalent of a selfie with this big spindly droid, basically with a gun that's firing at him and these massive arms that are swinging in his general direction, and two flying spherical objects that look like drones with spinning blades for wings. So you can see that. You also see Titus. It looks like Titus is like hanging on to the panel, to an open panel next to a door, and like doing something with a plastitorch basically inside the compartment where the panel was. So you can see that for sure. Looks like kind of a mess. Okay, so that's going to bring us up to the top of the round, and that's going to bring us to Titus again. So Titus, you are now hanging on to this thing. What do you want to try to do for hot wiring the door? Are you just hot wiring it closed, or like what are you trying to do?
First, I have a question. Zach, what is your camera? Is it handheld or is it like one of those floating drone kind of a things?
I think it is handheld.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I would like the DM's discretion with a bonus action for while I'm doing this repair, since I'm using my own tools and not using my rig necessarily,
Right.
to send the drones from my rig to sort of like go around and be a little distracting. Not unlike a talent that is known as impedance, except that I don't want to use it specifically for, combat related things. I just want a little bit of like distraction going on, because I don't want his camera to actually work for us to see us like fail, because I have a feeling we're gonna fail.
Oh, okay, wait. I'm a little confused. You're using the drones to impede the vision of his camera?
So these little tiny drones are just going to basically come out of the rig, right? Or, different various parts of like
Right.
on his belt or something, right?
Right.
And they're just going to just like circle around so that they're distracting enough, causing the autofocus to keep kicking in. So it keeps going in and out
So
of
you're
blur.
distracting the camera. I just want to be clear about what we're distracting.
I want to impede the visual stream. I don't want him to.
Just to be clear again, because we're on an op that other companies were interested in, and there's like privileged information. It's not a live stream; it's a recording. Just so you know. But
I still don't want you to
Also, Titus,
documenting our failures.
Titus, there is the Flash as well.
That's later.
So, okay. Well, as far as that's concerned, I think you can probably do that. And so, at the moment, the only one who's really looking right at it, because Zerial is just like booking it. I don't think Zero can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Zerial is like, let me go check out the video. I think Zerial is just like booking it, right? So that means the only one who's really watching this at the moment is Dr. Winterfield. So all of a sudden, you just see like, like these like spherical things like buzzing around the camera.
What are you doing?
Yeah, like. Like this, and they look vaguely.
We don't need to document our failures.
They look vaguely like Titus's, Dr. Winterfield. You're pretty sure.
So
those
don't
are Titus'.
fail.
Now, while you're doing that, that's fine. I will accept that as a kind of bonus action, because I find this kind of amusing. Whether or not your party will accept it as much later on, that's a discussion for after the combat. Anyway, in the meantime, what are you doing as your main action?
Mechanics check, basically.
Okay.
I want to see if I can get this thing to stop like jittering back and forth, going back and forth, and then finally just shut completely, so that we can back off long enough to be able to regroup and get our essentially get our heads together.
Okay, so good news, you can do that. Bad news, at the moment it's a disadvantage, because you may remember there is a sparking wire that was pulled out when you got yourself up onto the panel. So you can do that, but it's a disadvantage. However, I will note to the chat that you can counteract this by using an inspiration yourselves from the chat, and thus inspire Titus, which will bring that to just a regular check, like just a normal roll. So
I would
will
also remind the party that I have inspiration as well.
You have.
I think you have to use that for you, though, right?
Well, is it a talent that's used for you specifically? This one? Do you know, Dr. Winterfield?
Titus has been inspired, though. There you go.
Well, they haven't been reset. Okay, so that's good. I'm going to have to remember to put that because I have not reset them yet. Yes, Rudnell does get one, so I will make sure to. Oh, and I just realized I completely forgot. And there's not about anything in game.
That's good.
Okay, yeah, don't worry. Also, there's 6 other creatures. No, take inspiration. Okay. I'm just making a note for myself to do this later after the stream is over. But I forgot to mention, chat, if you are enjoying this, let me remind you that one of the things you can do during this campaign is you can cheer using the cheer function on Twitch. And if you cheer, any amount of bits that you cheer will be added to the amount we have total for the last 2 sessions. We have 800 bits right now. If you cheer more bits towards it, then we will subdivide that among all the players. So right now we have only 800 bits, and it would be lovely if people have enjoyed what they've seen to cheer these players on as they continue. So I meant to bring that up before the stream started. I apologize, but yes. But speak of the devil, Prince Justin with a 100 bit cheer. Thank you, Prince Justin, very much.
Thank you, Prince Justin.
Thank you. So, let's see, 2022. Thank you very much for doing that. Okay, so that brings us up to 900 bits thus far. Okay, so with that said, that brings me back to what we were doing, which was back in the game. So you can now, now that you've been inspired by a Rudnell, because I hadn't reset it yet, I'm 8 months too late. That means that you can now just do this at a regular check. So this will be a mechanics check using your normal abilities or whatever, and it'll just be a normal check, no disadvantage or anything.
Okay, let me double check something real quick. I am proficient at it.
That helps.
And yep, you're telling me. All right, so here we go.
Well, that's an 8, chat.
Thank you, Arudno.
Well,
I appreciate it that I didn't have to roll again.
Yeah, seriously.
That would have been worse.
Okay, so you do that, and you think you're like, it's the classic from Return of the Jedi, where, when Han is outside the bunker. He's like, I think I got it. And now it's like, what you did manage to do is you managed to get it so the door closes further before it reopens, but it's still like 3/4 closed open, 3/4 closed open, and erratically. Like that.
One quick question, and
Sure.
then I'm going to make a decision based on that.
Okay.
So the way that, so here we are. So the door, the hallway is like this, right? And the door is coming from which side where the panel is?
It's coming from the right side. No, the panel is on the left side. The door
Okay.
is closing from the right side.
The door is closed. Oh, okay.
Also, 209 more bits from Dragon Spear. Thank you, Dragon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Titus is going to look at the situation, look at what's going on, look at the situation, and say, all right, I'm out of ideas. That didn't work. And he uses the mag boots to drop
Okay.
and start running away from the door.
Okay.
Like he lets go and then re-engages them so that he can drop, and then he starts moving at his snail's pace.
Okay. Right. I would
Away.
say that you're able to, putting all that together, getting down on the side. You can probably move about 10, 15 feet, but that
Okay.
would be it after all the other stuff is there. Okay. Good stuff, Titus, so to speak. And that's going to lead us to the drones. The first ones to go are these blade drones. And again, Daraxus probably can see this doing his little selfie deal. And Dragon Spear has done another 100 bits. I Smarty Pats times 100. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dragon Spear.
Thanks, Dragon.
So, okay. So as the drones are kind of coming towards you now, the blades are slashing. Now, here's what happens, Daraxus. You're basically right outside the door, I believe, right? Because you came outside when this happened.
Yeah.
So what happens now is that the drones come in with their blades whirling, and they are and there's like sparks flying as the metal blades are impacting against the closing door that then opens and closes again. So as you can do this, there's just this sort of shower of sparks, and you can see that there are score marks beginning to appear inside this security door. Pretty strong metal this thing is. These things must have stronger blades than that, apparently. So, and so they sort of hover right there as they're sort of trying to, it's like a bump and go robot trying to figure out how to go. But the laser that I mentioned is now glowing an intensely bright red.
Great.
So there's that. Lastly, the big guy goes, and the big creature gets to the door, and then you see appearing around the side, it had, as I mentioned, multiple legs, multiple arms, one of which had a gun. The other one, and tries to catch the door. So it's like, so the door is like, and you see the arm going back as it's trying to pull it open, and you hear the sound, the unmistakable sound of squealing metal and straining metal, and it seems to be coming from within the door, not within this creature. It's basically trying to rip the door open. So that leads us to Zerial, who is going to have, by this point, gotten over into the corridor. And as you turn down, Zerial, you can see Titus running towards you, flailing his arms, I would assume. And you can see Dr. Jaraxxus with his selfie video feed as this, there is at the end of the corridor, so it's like right at the edge of what you can see, something is trying to open a door. It seems the door, there's like sparking, and this door seems to be attempting to close and then is being opened again, but something seems to be pulling on it from the inside.
I'm drawing my laser pistol.
Okay.
And I am holding my action until I see something that looks like it needs to be shot.
Okay. So if you, how do I put this? You could probably take a shot now, I would say, but it's going to be difficult because you've got multiple people in the way. So I don't know if you want to go further so that doesn't happen, or if you just want to wait until things come closer to you. But as you are,
I'm gonna hold my
Okay.
shot. Just basically stand there and wait for them to get out of the way so I can take it.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So that action is held. That leads us to Dr. Jaraxxus. So I've described what happened. Titus is running the other way. The door is 3/4 closing and opening. The creature is trying to open it, and there are 2 drones with bright red lasers with their blades hitting the metal edges of the door.
Awesome. Great. Cool. I'm going to lower the camera and say, let's get going. And I'm going to use my movement to move
Okay.
away from the door.
Okay.
And I just to get a little bit more movement, I'll grab my boots, which would just essentially, could I get like a running start and then start kind of like floating through the hallway, I guess?
Yes, but the minute you degrab those boots, you're not going to be in control. I mean, you'll go in the direction that you were going when you degrab them, but you're not going to be able to just re-grab them and then immediately get locked in. It means you might hit a bulkhead or like,
Yeah.
but I mean, you could do that. I mean, that's,
yeah,
hey,
it might
everything.
end up limiting my movement the same or worse even.
It would be great though. Can I just say, it would be just such a great moment.
Yeah, I'll keep the boots on and I'll run across the hallway, and I'll look back and I will aim my camera at the automaton as it's trying to break through the door. And then I'll also bring my left hand forward, and basically I'm holding my camera like a gun or firearm of some sort, and I will shoot out a strange beam of data code, and the camera gets a full first-person shooter view as I cast Sprite Beam, which is basically an Eldritch Blast.
Outstanding.
At the automaton.
Are you aiming at the? Okay, I was going to ask. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So for that sprite beam, is that a ranged?
Yeah. I need to
who's the
make
other
a ranged channeling attack.
Right,
Or
okay.
forging attack. All right, here we go.
Surrounded by a chain of digital code. That's so cool.
That's an 8 to hit.
That is not going to hit, I'm afraid.
As I miss, I say, I'll cut that in post too, and pull back and keep running. So yeah, I move my full. I suppose if the grab boots remove 5 feet of movement, I move 25 feet.
Okay.
Back
Which means you get
towards the ship.
you start getting. You're probably within a turn of getting to Zerial, who you can see is like holding their gun, sort of like getting ready to, kind of trying to get a shot on something.
Sounds good.
So,
Yeah.
Okay, that leads us to Dr. Winterfield, and then Titus will be on deck. Dr. Winterfield, what would you like to do as you are seeing all this transpire?
So is Zerial close enough to Jaraxxus that she could hack into the camera and give me the ability to talk to the automaton?
I don't think you can hack in from a distance without a terminal or something, Zerial. I mean, unless there's something I'm missing.
Or
I
an
think-
ability or something.
Yeah, I mean, right. So I don't know. I should say the automaton has not made any noises other than the zzz, type of thing so far. But doesn't mean it couldn't theoretically do that. But I don't think it could. My guess is, unless Zerial has some ability I don't know about, she probably needs to be closer to Dr. Jaraxxus to do any kind of hacking.
Okay, so I don't know how to be more than moral support at the moment, because I'm not abandoning the ship. I mean, all kinds of nutty things will happen if I do that.
Will be.
So, I've known Winterfield has known Jaraxxus for a while, and how far away is Trend now?
He looks, if all goes well, he should be on the ship, the other ship, the derelict freighter, next turn, at the top of the next turn.
Okay, so I'm going to communicate with Jaraxxus in Dindus.
Okay.
Okay. Jaraxxus, I am now speaking Dindus.
All right.
Keep an eye on Trend, will you, when he gets there? I'm not quite sure he's told us the full truth.
Oh, I keep my eyes everywhere.
He says
As well as my
while
cameras.
running frantically from the robots.
I keep my eyes. Damn, I missed. Yes. you say keep-
Multitasking.
Did you say trends? I'm always looking at trends. What do you mean trend? The pilot.
The pilot.
Oh. Well, no, that's Titus is the pilot. I'll be over there soon.
Okay.
I guess that's the end of my turn there.
Okay.
Sir.
Okay. Let's see. That's going to bring us to Titus. Actually, before Titus goes, though, indeed, Trend does emerge on the freighter and has his gun drawn, and he's not that far behind Uzrael, and he kind of books it down there, and then he's like, what the frail is that? And he's kind of looking down as this, like, there are these glowing red lights through the door, and like something is trying to rip this door open, and Titus is frantically running towards you, and the two of you, and Dr. Jaraxxus is not far behind, and he says, "Is that thing's following?
Yes.
I can't get off a clear shot this way." Go ahead, Titus. Sorry. Yeah. So he just says,
I was muted anyways.
okay. So he says that I can't get a clear shot this way. What are we gonna do? We need this thing. I mean, but we don't need to die, I suppose.
Wait, when he says we need this thing, is the beacon coming from the automaton?
It's literally from the automaton, the top of it.
Oh.
That glowing globe is where it seems to be coming from.
I see. I think I missed that. Okay.
Jaraxxus, what is that he said?
He's the beacon. I didn't notice till now.
I show on the camera.
See that flashing thing? God, that thing's fast. That's the beacon. We should probably grab that.
Ziriel, did you hear that?
Yes. Yes, I did. So I'm waiting to get a clear shot at it, and then I'm going to shoot it, and then we'll take the beacon off it when it's dead. Or out of commission, since it's not really, it's an automaton.
Really quick question. So how close is Titus to this automaton?
The automaton is not through the door yet, so probably at this point he's good 30 feet from it, 25, 30 feet.
So Titus is the farthest away. Is that correct?
Well, of the ones that started on the ship, the farthest away are probably Ziriel and Tren, because they, came on to the ship last. But the ones that started on the ship, the farthest away would be Titus, yes. So Tren waits for a moment, and that leads us to Titus. Titus, what would you like to do? You see most of your party, although not Dr. Winterfield yet, has arrived on the ship.
They're in front of me down the corridor, and behind me is the automatons.
Is Jaraxxus first, and then behind them is the automaton and the drones. Behind this door, which is closing and opening, but it looks like it's trying to rip it open.
Oh, so Jaraxxus is behind me, closer to the drone. Oh, okay.
Yep.
I misunderstood that. Titus is going to stop, say, for all this, turn around, and he's going to laser blast the drone.
Okay.
I know that is a ranged attack.
Yeah, so you'll have to miss Jaraxxus, but you think you should be able to do that. It's
I'm 2 feet tall,
yeah,
and I'm
exactly.
pretty sure I can angle around him.
I'm not that worried about that.
Whatever
Yeah.
he's doing, so
Yeah.
Unless he just runs right in front of me, which Jaraxxus, I'm sorry in advance. If I hit you with this, I'll res you. I promise. Or I'll help you survive. Anyway.
All right.
Okay, you can do that.
So anyways, so he, Titus is just gonna like sort of angle around and just kind of like turn and use, this technique, and he's just gonna throw laser blast at it.
All right, now, is he blasting? Important, because right next to the automaton, also trying to get through the door, are the two drones with the blades. Do you want to go for one of them, or are you going for the big guy?
Oh no, let's take the easy target first.
Okay.
We're already having to deal with a door that's going back and forth.
Yeah.
Like, in weird randomness. Let's go for the target that we think we can hit.
Okay, sounds good. So you're going to be able to do that. I'm going to say this is a -2 to hit, not disadvantage, but I'm going to say -2 because you are shooting around Jaraxxus and through a 3/4 closing and opening door.
I'll take a 22.
That will 100% hit. Okay, so tell us what the laser blast will do. This technique.
So you fire a high-powered laser beam toward a creature of your choice within range. Range being 120 feet, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Make a range forging attack. On a hit, the thing takes 4d6 radiant
That's what I like to see.
Whoa.
damage.
That's what I like to see.
Radiant damage. Now, let's
Instructor.
try this and see what happens. How about 14?
14 is very nice. Okay, so it slams into it. And so you'll be happy to know that that's not the only thing that happens. When you slam into it, because this thing is also trying to pull at the door, basically what it does is it temporarily, like its hand that was trying to open the door, its claw, slips, and the door sort of slams into one of the drones with the blade. So you actually do a little damage, not a lot, but a little damage to one of those drones as well. Okay, so it definitely seemed to work. It seemed to have an effect on it for sure.
Okay, is it looking worse for the wearer, or
Yes,
is it still
definitely.
like just...
That was a solid hit. You can actually see there's some sparking off of it and so on. It did not resist damage at all. You can see that it definitely took all of that. And for a moment there's the classic where it stops and it slips a little bit, and then and then like grabs again to try to pull it open. That door does not look like it's going to hold for longer than this turn, by the way. It is like you can hear the sound of it. And this is a security door. Like, if you remember, getting into it wasn't so easy. This thing is strong, then clearly that's open.
Dang.
Right. And so Titus is
shot,
going to move. Titus is going to move a little farther back,
Okay.
trying to keep a clear line of sight between him and this thing, but it's not too far away just in case Jaraxxus gets in trouble.
And this is actually a good opportunity. Zerial, I will say that since that thing slipped and stopped for a minute, you do actually have a shot at it, but you're going to be again at -2 because you're trying to, shoot in and around and through things basically,
Okay.
but not disadvantage. So since you had a held shot, I'll let you take it if you want. And on the big one, I assume.
And it's -2?
-2 to hit. Yeah.
Okay. How about a 21?
21, even with the -2, will still hit. Yep, absolutely. So let's see what your damage is on this thing.
It is a light pistol. I don't know what the damage is for a light pistol. Is it a D6?
It is.
I think, yeah. But it might be D6 plus Dex then?
If it
yeah, I think
is,
Yeah.
I really like that because
so.
Yeah, I think it's D6 plus
Yeah,
Dex.
you got a high dex character this time.
I do. It is so different from Petra. How about 7 points of damage?
Yeah, so this thing actually happens in quick succession. Titus's blasts into it, it stops, and as it sort of grabs and starts to grab it again, you fire, Zerial, and hit it again. You hit it again, and now it is sparking and like sort of moving slightly more erratically than it was. Still looks like it's got strength to move the door, but it looks like it's been quite very damaged.
All
So,
right.
Zerial, good stuff. Now the good news ends, and now the bad guys go. So, the drones, basically, the red light now has grown so bright that it's hard to even look at, and both of them then fire. Now, there are 3 of you in the hallway, plus Tren. I'm going to assign a number to each of you. We're going to use the power of random to determine who they end up aiming at. So let's see. Titus, you're going to be 1. Zerial is 2. Jaraxxus is going to be 3. And Tren is 4. So the first one is going to hit 1. That is Titus. And the second one is going to hit... what they're going to fire at. Doesn't mean they hit you yet. They're going to fire, target you. The second one is going to be 3, which I think I said was Dr. Jaraxxus.
I think so.
So, now we'll see whether they hit. So the first one, trying to hit Titus, critically misses. Probably blasts itself into oblivion. The second one on Jaraxxus, ooh, that is not a critical miss. That's not a critical miss. That is going to be a 21.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So... that does 3 points of damage to you. I never do this, but I'm going to tell you it's 1d10 was that damage. So you got a 3. So you are blasted and stumble forward, but are not
gosh.
dead.
I am at 1 hit point, folks. Love to see it.
Jaraxxus, are you fine? Are you fine?
Like blue blood comes out. It's
Yeah,
like,
Yeah, I'm good.
It doesn't look like it from here, but okay. All right.
Okay, the lights you notice have now dulled to there's no light at all now in the lasers. And with that, they're still trying to get through the door. They can't yet, but they will be able to because and with this massive just sound of tortured squealing metal, the door is ripped out and the creature like arms first, right? So it kind of like think Nightmare Before Christmas a bit, right? Jack Skellington like pulls through and then in this bizarre, almost spider-like way comes towards you. Now you can see it's sparking and its movements aren't all like, because you've definitely damaged it, but it is coming down the hallway towards you. It will be to you next turn almost certainly now that the door is open. And the door is like, the red light above the door has stopped blinking. The door is just there. It's not clearly destroyed now, and it's not going to stop anything. And that's going to lead us to Zerial. Zerial, you see this thing out of a nightmare coming towards you, along with the spherical drones behind it. I think you're muted, Cap.
I'm going to shoot it, and I'm going to use my deft strike for an extra d6 of damage.
I love to hear that.
See if I hit.
Let's make that happen.
Do I still have -2?
No, now it's a very definitive target. That is not a problem.
Oh,
anymore.
god damn it. A 9.
9 is not going to hit, though, I'm afraid. So you miss it, narrowly miss Jaraxxus and Titus, actually, in the way. So no dice, so to speak. Are you going to stay where you are, Zuriel?
Can I hide?
Let me think about that.
I'm a specialist.
No, you are. I'm just thinking about what debris. I mean, you could try. The thing is that there's not a lot of there's debris, but it's not on this side of the corridor. You'd have to back up further. You remember you came in and you took a right, looking south.
Okay.
Let's say.
I'm
towards the ship.
unwilling to back up, so I will wait.
Yeah, there's no debris here. You could hide behind one of your
stay-
friends. I mean, that would be
What?
fine. You could hide behind one of your friends.
Well, that's always tempting.
But no, unfortunately, there's no debris nearby here. Okay, so you're going to stay where you are. That's going to lead us to Dr. Jaraxxus, barely with us, but still with us, still
Heck yeah.
broadcasting.
Heck yeah. Okay. Now
You
those
hear it behind you.
Yeah, those 2 constructs that shot out at us. That was after them, charging up like they had been
Correct.
for a couple turns, right?
Correct.
Do I see that they're restarting that process now, or are they ready to go just laser beaming now?
They have not. You don't know because it hasn't gotten back up to their turn yet. Because they
Okay.
fired on their turn, so you don't know if they're going to restart or not. They are clearly going to fly through the door, though. That seems pretty obvious.
Yeah. Can I see if they're the little light that was starting to grow?
Not so
if
far.
that. Okay. All right.
So far, it's just dull on both of them.
I will. And how far away is that automaton from me?
Probably about 15 feet.
Okay. I will use my movement as normal again. Does that mean I start to enter almost like the airlock?
Yeah,
between our ships?
if you used your movement again, you would actually probably you'd be able to get to the entrance to the passageway connecting the 2 ships.
Okay. Oh, okay. I say to the other party members, I say,
If we need that beacon, then let's guide the automaton onto the ship and then seal the other 2 off.
And so Tren says, "My ship? The Room Lake?
Yes.
You want that thing on our ship?"
Yes.
Are you crazy? That thing's just that's too much. We're no.
Here, I have a hypothesis. We can take it down. Time to test the hypothesis.
and I try to shoot another sprite beam at the automaton.
I have a hypothesis. I think we could do this. All right, go ahead and fire. At the
Scientific
thing.
method never fails.
Do you believe in the hypothesis, chat? All right.
Yes.
Let's do this.
All right, I'll attack again. I believe in the hypothesis,
my
and
heavens.
it got me a 23.
23 will absolutely hit.
Heck yeah. All right, I think it's a D10. I'll just triple check. Are you don't happen to be staring at it right
Oh
now?
no,
are you?
I'm not.
Okay, you don't have to. I'm getting to it. Okay.
I'm staring at the creature.
Burst. Sprite burst. Hashtag not a sponsor. Sprite burst. Where's
Not-
there? Sprite
Not
beam.
yet.
Not yet. Yeah, D10 force damage. All right, that was it. Okay, here we go.
All right, let's see what you get. Your hypothesis has been proven not fully correct. So you proudly hit it. And it's like sting it, but like one arm barely moves.
I say,
Maybe we shouldn't bring it on the ship. It's very invulnerable.
I don't think that's how science works.
and that's my turn. I've gone my 25 feet.
Okay.
All right, am I kind of turning a corner here because
Yeah, you're like
I was-
right at the
okay.
place where you can't quite get out of range,
Okay,
out of
got
like
it.
sight yet, but you're right there.
Okay, great. And everyone else's positioning is Zerial in the
Zerial is now
hallway?
in front of you, so you are
the
you're
airlock,
you're right.
kind of.
No, you are. So the positioning is as follows: airlock. You're right in the corridor of the derelict freighter, next to the airlock.
Yeah.
Right in front of you is Zerial, and next to Zerial is Tren, and in front of those two is Titus, who is almost to the two of them. And then the automaton is behind them, and the drones behind the
Okay.
automaton.
All right, so we're pretty much almost all together here at
Yes.
the airlock, almost. All right,
Exactly.
cool.
Don't say taking a turn when a player's at one hit point. Yeah, graduate. It's true. He made a hypothesis, he tested, didn't pass the test to graduate to a theory. Yes, that's all. He followed the
That's my
method.
turn.
Okay. Dr. Winterfield, you hear this going down, but you also hear something else. You hear Runewake. Runewake, acknowledge. It's coming from other ships. And you see popping up on the vid screen 3 small, what look like starfighter class ships. Runewake, acknowledge.
Tren, there are 3 star-class ships just outside. Who are they? What should I tell them?
That's really bad. I don't. What do you see any markings on them? And or sort of codes, and you could also like acknowledge them if you wish, or Dr. Winterfield, you could try to zoom the video in to kind of see if you can get a shot of one of the markings.
I'm going to zoom in and see if I can get a shot of one of the markings.
Okay, let me have you make a perception check for me. I'm going to give you +3 at this, since this is, well,
Okay.
because of reasons of your own talents.
20.
Well, a crit on that is very nice. Yes. You know 2 things. First of all, almost certainly this is not a marking of your megacorp. You think that you are looking at markings of the Eternus megacorp on each of the 3 ships.
Tren? They seem to be from Eternus. Would you like to greet them?
That's really, really bad. Really bad. Well, we could keep radio silence, and then all of a sudden you're doo-doo-doo-doo. Runewake, acknowledge, or we will open fire.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure you heard that.
I did. I don't know. Stall him. Tell him. I'll frail all of this. And he says, do I need to get back onto the ship? What about this thing, though?
So I'm going to respond.
Okay.
Eternus, this is Tren's Runewake. To whom am I speaking?
Runewake, we serve under the Eternus banner. You are to power your ship down. Power your ship down.
And who is giving these orders?
Runewake, this is not a discussion. Power your shields down or be destroyed. And Trent is like,
When this is coming through, are those 3 ships actually, like, is this a transmission for our science fiction minds coming through while those ships are still in warp, would we say? Or are those ships like, they're here now?
the
And...
ships are here, but they're not right on top of your, they're like, they have pulled out of warp, but they are not right on top of the Runewake yet, but they are flying in the Runewake's direction. Your
Are they
guess,
still having to navigate the storm itself?
they seem to have done that already. They got on the underside of it.
Yeah.
Remember that the storm was all around the ship, so you were kind
Right.
of in a buffer. So these things got to the other side of the storm. You don't know how long it took them to navigate it or how they did it, but all 3 of them are now on the other side of the storm, and probably a turn or 2 away from reaching the Runewake, if you had to guess.
And Zerial can't hack into their systems.
Maybe Zerial could give that a shot, but she's got to get to a terminal.
And when you say 1 to 2 turns before they reach the Runewake, you mean before they
Within
reach
firing
weapons?
distance.
Yeah,
Right.
got it.
Right.
Okay.
I'd also like to ask, Dr. Winterfield would like to ask Tren something.
Yeah.
Tren, these people from Eternus seem to know you. They don't seem to be very happy with you. You wouldn't have happened to double-cross them, would you?
No, I haven't double-crossed them, but they know that there's another corporation on this mission, same as we knew that they were on this mission too. I'll tell you one thing, though. The room wakes faster than anything Eternus has ever put out. If we can get ourselves and whatever this thing is back in our ship, we can get the hell out of there. They're not as fast as us. They are perhaps slightly stronger, though. Maybe.
Well, I think everybody better be getting a move on.
This is the definition of things going from bad to worse. Okay, so you are not, however, moving the ship anywhere yet, I assume, Dr. Winterfield, since it's still connected, technically, to the freighter, yes?
Well, I would be abandoning everybody, wouldn't
Yes,
I? if I moved
probably.
the
I mean,
ship?
you'd have to do some, unless you had some incredible maneuver, what I want to do is move myself plus the freighter, and I'd be like, you can't do that. You'd be like,
Well,
yeah, but wouldn't it be great? Or
Does
something.
the ship have some remarkable cloaking device?
Not that you know. It's
Uh,
designed for speed, and it does have some weapon. I will say it does have some weapon capability, but it was not built as a fighter. It was built for some speed.
I'm thinking of how we can use this storm to our advantage somehow.
Ah, please tell me more. I want to know.
I am scheming. Give me a minute.
Okay. Well, I'll give you a turn because this is probably going to take your turn to be thinking about it anyway. Because
Okay.
you were back talking with them. But yes, please continue to scheme.
All right.
As we get to the top of the round, Titus, before Titus goes, Tren is able to go. Tren is going to fire away. Let's see. Tren is going to fire away at. Is going to fire away at the automaton, since he is not foolish, and that's what all of you have been doing. Also, it's the biggest threat. and is going to critically hit. Hey-o!
Hey.
All right. That is quite a shot. Okay, so he's only got the pistol though. Okay, that actually, he hits it square in the dome, basically. And so the thing kind of sparks, bangs off the walls, and crumples down and smashes to a halt right in front of Zerial, maybe 2 feet away from you, Zerial. This thing is lying on the ground, and you can see that its limbs sort of fall off it as it collapses into this pile of metal and circuitry. But right on the top of it is the sort of clear, it's in quotes, head, which is still there, and there are still lights on inside it. This was allegedly where the data is coming from. That is in front of you, and the body of the thing is just collapsed into nothingness, basically into just parts on the ground. And Tren says, "Awesome, let's get out of here." And he turns around and he basically heads back and starts moving onto the passageway out of the airlock. So that's going to lead us to Titus. So Titus, this thing, you narrowly were missed by this thing as it fell. So now it's you hanging out right near the creatures. So you've got all this metal around you, but also there are the creatures with the blades that are heading towards you, the blade drones. And you've heard what Tren said. So there's also the glowing globe of light that's still there.
How far are these bladed drones?
From you, they were behind the automaton, so 25 feet maybe.
And their behavior hasn't changed since the big automaton went down?
No. Has not.
And where is this glowing globe thing in relation to Titus?
Well, you were pretty close actually to it because it fell right in front of you. It's maybe 10 feet. You could reach it and try. I mean, it's a little big, but you could try to pick it up if you wanted. I don't know. You could see if you could pick it up. You could get to it and try to pick it up in the same turn is what I'm saying.
Titus is going to do that. And if there's no problem with me picking it up,
You will need to make a
then-
strength check, but it doesn't have. It's not a hard one.
it's not a hard one. All right, yeah. But you know what? Gray? That's not my. That's not me at all. I'm 2 feet tall. How do you expect this?
I just like the image of you holding it over your head, frankly. Like,
Well, now I'm more curious about how big it actually is. But okay. You know what?
wow.
I'll take it.
So you tell me what that looks like as you come up there with your critical strength check. What does that look like?
Amazing.
Titus darts forward, jumping, falling down to all four for just a second, falling back to instinctual sort of speed, gets up to it and just kind of hoists it above and says, "All right, this is fine, but we better get out of here. This isn't going to last long." And he just starts darting back.
Okay. So you're going to keep moving in that
With this
same...
orb just kind of like
Yep.
kind of like doing this dance thing
Heck
as he's
yeah.
balancing it in his hands.
Yep, it is heavy, but that is pretty badass. Okay. Meanwhile, the blade drones continue their way down, and you can now see, Jaraxxus, that the light is indeed starting to go off on the drones again. So the red light is starting to brighten as
All
they
right.
head in your direction. They will not quite get to you, though. They'll be there probably next turn, which leads us to Zerial. Zerial, you're standing about 5 feet in front of the airlock. Titus is just past you holding this globe, and you see the drones are coming down the hallway towards you.
I'm going to shoot the closest one.
Okay. Let's make that happen.
24.
Yeah, wow. You folks have not been... You ate your Wheaties today, everybody. Yes, that will definitely hit.
So I'm using my deft strike, which adds an extra d6.
Outstanding.
11 points.
11 points. You'll be happy to know that the one you have hit is also the one which was previously slightly damaged by the automaton. And so your thing sends it and like carves this little like score in the floor with its blades before coming to a rest and going silent. That leaves one drone left. Zero, do you want to move or stay? What are you going to do?
So there's nobody. I don't have to worry about anybody being past the drones. It's basically the drones and then
Right.
me and Titus.
That's it.
Okay, well then I'm going to retreat
Okay.
as well.
Okay, that you should be able to, even with the 15, because you were only 5 in front of the airlock, so you can get to the passageway, basically.
I will do that.
Good stuff. All right, Jaraxxus, you are up. You were in the passageway now.
Okay. And is everyone in the airlock now?
So let's see. Everybody, let's see. Titus is past. Zerial is in there. I think actually, and then Tren was already there. Yeah, so I guess everybody would be now in or next to the airlock. I think they're actually all in the passageway, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Some more in than others, but still.
Now, the thing is that, like, when we docked, we brought our airlock to the hatch of the ship, which I then blew open. So if we wanted to seal this off, it would have to be on our side, right? Because I can't turn around
Correct.
to this derelict ship and there's no door to close.
Correct. Right.
Okay. Okay. And with my movement, am I able to get all the way to our airlock door?
Since you started inside the airlock, yes, I think so.
Okay.
I think you could get in. I think you could just get inside your ship.
I'll move that movement, and I will hold my action by the airlock door to seal it shut once everyone is through.
Okay. So you're going to basically hold your action of closing it until everyone gets through.
That's right.
Okay. Okay.
Everyone, let's go.
Everybody move. Okay. That was Jaraxxus, and that's going to lead us to Dr. Winterfield. Have you had any more thought about cosmic storms, etc.?
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's possible to fool these ships into believing that the Runewake's been hit,
Okay.
and if I can maybe garble the communication so it sounds like the Runewake's been hit, and that will make them fearful and think, we need to turn around.
I see. Okay. I'm going to have you make... Boy, do I have you make a computers check or do I have you make a deception check? How are you going to try to make the sound of the rune wake being hit? Are you going to try to do something computer-wise? Like sort of try to figure out a way to basically control the ship to do that?
Well, yeah, like basically, Dr. Winterfield would say to them, "We're being hit," and
Okay,
it'll sound.
so you're
yeah.
doing one of those like, can't,
Yeah.
type of thing. Okay. Yes, you can do that. That's a deception check then. That's
or yeah, and also saying like, get here." And, like I'm trying to contact the crew and telling them to get here because we're in big trouble.
I love it. Let's have a deception check, please, from you. This is charisma based.
Okay.
I don't know whether you have proficiency in deception for this, for your character.
So my charisma is 16,
Good. That should be
and my deception bonus is 2.
I think.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So there you go.
Yeah.
So 1d20 plus 2. Let's see how this deception works.
Yeah, 16 is 3 actually.
What happened? It
Oh.
didn't roll? Let me try this again.
Damn it. Why do I always... Yeah,
What?
that's 100% right. 16 is 3. My bad.
All right.
16, 17, 18 is...
Yeah, those are the rough
For some
ones.
reason, I don't... Yeah, I don't...
It's a 10.
Okay. 10 plus 3, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's find out what they do. They're like, so the response is, Runewake, you have no communications damage for sensors. Power down your shields. You won't get another warning. And Tren says over the that's not a bad idea. I don't think it worked.
Are you almost back to the ship?
Yes, he says. Okay. So, good thought, Dr. Winterfield. I don't know whether it worked yet, but it was a good thought. Okay. Titus. So Titus running down. I really want chat to understand the visual of this 2-foot Zek holding the globe of the exactly just
Yes.
running down the passageway. Okay. So even if you're double moving, which I'm assuming you're going to do, Titus, but correct me if I'm wrong. You tell me, because you have this thing, you will be able to, with it and with the mag boots, I would say you're going to be slowed down by an additional 5 feet. So you'd be moving, you started with 25, so it'd be 20, so you'd be moving 15. If you double
Right.
move, it'd be 30, and that ought to be enough to, because you got in, that would put you, I would say that would be enough that you could get right past the door of the Runewake. Just
So
past it.
is the penalty in movement because of the weight of the globe,
Yes.
or is it because of the awkwardness of the globe?
It's because of the weight of the globe more than the awkwardness.
But if there's no gravity in there, is that really going to affect me?
That's true actually. I guess that's true because getting it because it's got that's true. Once you're in the airlock, that wouldn't. Yeah, you're right. That's I good point. So I would say that it only is the 5 feet then. So it's
Okay.
from your mag boots. So that would only be 20. But still, even then, 20 wouldn't quite get you across. So you would need to double move to get all the way across.
Yeah. So the other question I have is, there's only the one thing left. It's moving fast up behind us. Is the globe? Is the surface of the globe such that it's got little like affectations or nodules or other little things on it, or is it really smooth?
It's smooth, and it actually is essentially a globe, half of which, the top half of it, like so the semicircle top, is from inside there is where you see all the wires and lights and all that. The bottom of it is just metal. And there are it's not totally smooth, Titus. Like there are little, like protrusions and things, but they're not big enough to hold. They're just things that clearly were sort of ripped loose from the inside of this thing. They might even been almost the equivalent of like plugs, like, things that were meant to plug into the body of the creature, the automaton, but they're very small. So it's not perfectly smooth on the bottom. The top is perfectly smooth.
Okay, so, and who's in front of me? Like I'm like the last in the sort of the walking order or whatever, or party order or whatever. Like
Right,
everybody else is down the tunnel in front of me, right?
Well, right. So Tren is not quite. So Dr. Draxus is waiting on the other side of the Runewake. Tren is just gotten now into the Runewake. That leaves because Tren went in front of you. Behind you, or I believe, is Ziriel and then Jaraxxus. No, Jaraxxus is waiting. So yeah, it's actually just Ziriel is behind you, but in the passageway. And the drones are coming. The globes are presumably going to be there. They're not there yet, but they will presumably get there soon.
There's two of them still. I thought there was just one.
One drone. Sorry, that's right. You destroyed one. One drone remains, but again, it's not visible from the passageway because you're inside the passageway and they haven't gotten to the airlock yet. So that drone is not visible yet.
Okay. So what Titus is going to do is he's going to yell out. He's going to go, Jaraxxus, catch! And he's going to throw the globe because it's essentially weightless because of the there's no gravity. He's going to throw it down the sort of the hallway.
Right.
He's going to turn and he's going to hold his action until the drone turns, and then he's going to attack.
Okay.
Like the drone turns the corner and then he's going to attack.
Gotcha. Okay. Makes sense. All right. So he tosses it down that way. I'm going to ask Dr. Jaraxxus to make a dexterity check, but it's an easy one, just to make sure, because Jaraxxus is technically holding his action to close the door, but I'll allow him to do this as a bonus action, but you do have to make a check to try to catch this thing. I mean, I guess you could just not try to catch it and let it fly past you also. That's up to you, Jaraxxus.
I might as well try, otherwise that'll still happen anyway.
Okay.
Just a regular dexterity check?
Yes.
Okay.
8.
I would say that you kind of slow it down.
Okay.
Like you sort of kind of goes off your fingers and you hear this doof, 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 kind of bouncing behind you. And then there's a thunk and you hear, the fro was that? And you can see Tren kind of rubbing the back of his head and looking at this thing. Because, of course, once it gets into the rune wake, then it just, basically falls to the ground because gravity is once again reestablished and rolls along. So you can see that he's like, he kind of shakes his head as that happens. Okay, so the drone is next to go, and guess what, Titus? It has arrived on the scene. So it is there, turned around. You can see, Titus, that the red light is glowing quite brightly now on the front of it.
Well, let's do another laser blast.
Okay.
Worked so good for me last time. Let's just take this thing out with one shot.
All right.
If we can hit it.
Do it.
Is there any disadvantage at all?
No, not on this one. You got a clear shot. It has a clear shot on you.
How about a 12?
A 12.
Please, please, please.
No, just miss. 12 is not going to do it. Just sort of misses like in between the blades. And sadly, that is a miss. Okay.
Thanks.
Ziriel, so that was the drone. Oh, so the drone was coming. So it comes into the passageway, probably about 10 feet is as far as it can get. So it's about 10 feet maybe from you, Titus. Ziriel, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, because you're up next. Where did you get back onto the rune wake? Because you were headed that way, right? Back over the
I
passageway.
believe so.
Okay. So then it's your turn. You're now on the other side of Dr. Jaraxxus, and you can see from your vantage point Titus, the 2-foot Zek, facing down the hovering drone in the middle of this passage.
I wish to shoot the drone.
Okay. You can step up and do that. Fortunately, Titus being 2 feet means that you don't have any disadvantage on this. You're just firing away at the drone.
And I have, as always, tried to put that in chat for some reason. And now I roll in. 18.
18 will hit.
Nice.
Very nice.
Seriously.
10 points of damage.
Wow.
Wow.
All right. So you hit it, and it's a solid hit, and like you see sparks and little pieces of metal fly off. It's not destroyed, but very damaged.
Okay.
Good shot, Ziriel. I assume you're going to stay on your side of the door.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Jaraxxus. So your action never fired because Titus is not there yet. You can see the drone is almost destroyed, and you can hear Winterfield, doing the while there's to the ships that are on their way.
All right, let me see here. I am. Yeah. I'm gonna hold my action to do the same thing, and I'll shout out,
Titus, get in here! Unless you want to party with the Turnus, they're on their way.
Okay.
um,
And that-
assuming that, you know, an action must be held, and then, you know, as long as he uses, as long as they use their movement, and then you could even probably still attack. But yeah, I'm here at the door, and then I shout back,
Whoever's at the pilot seat, get ready to get us out of here.
I'm working on it. Tren says as he's making his way up to the bridge.
All right.
Okay, Dr. Winterfield, you are up at the ship. Tren is not quite there yet. And again, you hear this. Runewake, we will be in firing range in less than 10 seconds. This is your final warning. Drop your shields and power down.
Well, it looks like I'm gonna have to drop them shields, or we gonna be dead. Unless anybody else has any ideas about how to fend them off. Because this is not a battleship. Tren is not here.
do we think Tren will make it in the next 10 seconds?
Tren will be going next. He will be the top of the turn.
And
The issue is that you currently have a Zek in the passageway.
We have to wait for okay,
Titus goes next, though.
as well. Okay. Yeah,
It's close.
Jaraxxus says,
Oh, tell them. Ooh. Tell them that we have what they want, and if they shoot at us, they will destroy it.
Eternus, we have recovered the object. If you shoot, you will destroy it.
Let me have a deception check, Dr. Winterfield.
I mean, that is true. Right?
I mean, theoretically, in the sense that you would all be destroyed. That's 12
12 plus 3.
That's better.
What's my deception? Sorry. What's that attached to charisma?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
My charisma is 16.
Yeah,
And-
so
So
plus
3.
My deception, I have a bonus of 2.
Oh,
There you go.
because of, okay. So I wonder if that's, I wonder if you're proficient in deception.
Do you have a check? Do you have a check mark next to deception?
That would be nice. That would mean you had a 17.
I don't, but that doesn't mean that there shouldn't be one there. So,
Okay. Well, okay. It kind of matters whether it's a 17 or a 15. So.
yeah.
So let me think.
Do
about
you think you would have meant to make Dr. Winterfield proficient in deceiving people?
Well, my proficiencies are in astrophysics, insight, lore, and persuasion, so probably not.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's the
My
same amount as
persuasion
me.
is probably the deception
Yep.
type thing that
Yep.
I did.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So what you hear is, there's kind of a, stand by, Runewake. Stand by. Do not attempt to leave the area. Stand by. And at this point, you can see visually, Dr. Winterfield, you can see that the ships now are getting within visual range. In fact, if Titus were to take a quick second and kind of look out the passageway, you might even be able to see very far away lights moving, not like a star or a comet would, but like actually in a sort of more mechanical way. Okay, so that brings us up to the top of the round. Tren gets in there and he says, all right, I'm here. And he puts the globe down that he was holding, and he hands it over to you, Dr. Winterfield. He's like, well, here, you look at this. And he hands it to you, and then he sort of slides into the ship, and you hear this. He's like, you got to get out of there, Titus. We got to go now. and you can hear the ship's engines powering up. Meanwhile, you hear this from the distance. Ruinwake, we have detected engine. He's like, oh, shut the frill up. And he shuts the thing off. And Titus, it's your turn. What are you going to do?
You know, it would really help if I unmuted. Titus is going to he's going to use a prime talent. He's going to use electrical surge. Do the same thing again.
Okay.
All right. So 1 second. Let's do a shot. How about a 13?
Just enough.
All right. Give me 1 second while I figure out the damage real quick.
Literally just enough.
Front.
This has been a little tense, chat.
Has it?
I mean, you tell me. I don't know.
I was expecting a TPK. Hold on a second. As the
Well, okay, fair enough. If yes, but
right.
Well, we have the
Jaraxxus could
TP.
well have been, yeah.
The TP part, because it's a little tense. You get, because the TP is a kind of tense, right?
Oh, you're ready whenever for the inspirations, Wayman Wolf. Yeah, technically, I guess we could have had that done before. Rudenel has used his already, but Titus did hit.
Okay.
And I still have one.
Yeah, the inspiration. Was that the one that I gave you that sort of holds over, Toya? Do you
How about
remember?
Yes.
5?
Okay. So thanks to the very good shot from Zerial previously, this thing, you hit it and it also lands in front of you, and the red light like dulls out. And Tren says, "Are you coming or not?"
And Titus basically just turns and just starts moving as fast as his little boots will allow him to, kind of doing his little waddle as he gets onto the ship.
Yep. And that you just have enough to get onto the ship, which means, Jaraxxus, your held action goes off. So you're okay. So you do that, and Tren's like, "Can I please move this thing?"
Yes.
He says, "All right,
Wait,
hold
I'm
on.
not recording.
Hold
Hold
on to something." Like,
All right, I'm
so-
recording.
So the ship surges to life, and as it does so, you feel the ship kind of lurch because laser shots are now hitting it from the starfighters as they're going, and Tren sort of laughs about it, and he says, "Yeah, I'll bet you'd like to do more of that." And he sort of moves things into position, and he says, "And now it's time to explain why I call this the Rune Wake." And he pushes it forward, and the ship just goes off. Now, the good news is the starfighters are left in the dust. The bad news is you have a cosmic storm that you have to deal with. So,
Great.
at the moment, the only ones who are going to be able to do anything about this, because the three of you are not on the bridge, is Dr. Winterfield. So what's going to happen here, Dr. Winterfield, is I'm going to have you make a series of perception checks, because he's going at a rate fast enough that he's basically going to carve through some of this storm. Even though he's a very good pilot, he's going to carve through some of this storm as he goes. So your perception will minimize the damage the ship takes as it does this. So you're going to need to make a perception check. Now, I will warn you, you cannot inspire yourself. So someone else has got to inspire you if you're going to do that. So it's up to chat. Wayman Wolf, if you wanted to do it, you could do that. They're going to need to make 3 of these checks.
Are there any abilities I need to be looking at here?
I think, well, if you have any benefit to perception beyond what you have as a skill, I don't think so, because you've got astrophysics, right, and stuff like that. Wouldn't so.
My perception bonus is 2.
Okay, well, that's what we're looking at. So you may need some assistance from chat. All right, chat, are we getting any inspirations? Wayman Wolf, are you throwing one in the direction? Are you inspiring Dr. Winterfield to attempt to perceive?
Wayman asks who they're inspiring.
They would be, yeah. Aha, Wayman Wolf has inspired Dr. Winterfield.
Thank you.
Woo!
Thank you, Wayman Wolf. Thank you.
I am grateful to you.
Okay, so that means you can make the roll twice, the check twice, and take the higher result.
Okay. First is 7. Yeah, that would be 9.
9. Oh no. The 7. So the ship just as he hits this thing does take damage. You, in fact, near the bulkhead, since you're all sort of like trying hard to grab onto something and kind of, shaking back and forth. You can actually hear the sound of like some scraping on the hull as you're thrown into this cosmic storm. Okay, second perception check for me, please, Dr. Winterfield.
Okay.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
13, so 15.
Okay. Yeah, that one actually you're able to you see coming from the port side of the ship in time to be able to warn Tren, and he kind of dodges to the starboard. And one last one there, Dr. Winterfield.
No!
Oh, no.
Well, yeah, that last one goes through. The big thing was not missing 3 checks. Missing 2 is still not great, but it means at least that you come out on the other side of this storm. And as Tren pulls this out of warp, he pulls this out of warp, and you sort of come to a just sort of a kind of a shuddering halt.
That was a 1, by the way, Chad.
Yeah,
a
in
1.
case anyone was curious, that was a 1. And there's a pause for a moment as you're all sort of lying there, and then Tren says, "Well, the ship is sort of together. You all right?"
I think so.
I'm not in pieces.
I head up to the bridge.
Okay, what about Titus and Zerial? Heading up to the bridge, or?
Titus is going to look very angry and just not say a word and just start, meandering his way up to the bridge, just grumpy, like a grumpy midget sort of like disposition, just really, really unhappy.
Okay. And Zerial, are you heading up to the bridge as well? Zerial? Cat? Are you?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I was. I'm gonna shoot this thing. Right, it's still in front of me.
No. You were.
I'm sorry.
No. You're.
I'm sorry. It's late, and I just totally almost dozed off there.
Oh, no,
and
that's
that's
okay.
out of it.
That's okay. No, you're back on. You're you were just heading up to the bridge. You've escaped the starfighters. Apparently.
Oh, hooray!
Yeah.
The threat is gone. Worry not.
So.
Well, I'm going to. I'm gonna look at this globe that we have come back with, this strange beacon thing.
So yeah, when you get to the bridge, the group of you can look and see on this globe that it is, in fact, still a couple of little lights are still pulsing inside it. And Tren is looking at it, and he says, "Well, this thing better be worth all that we paid to deal with it. It's going to be enough trying to get this ship fixed. We're going to have to limp back into base, but we should be able to.
What was Eternus going to do with it?
Sell it, probably, to the highest bidder. It might have been what we were going to do, too, depending on what happened." And, yeah. So the ship limps its way along. And a couple of notes to the party, which is that you are, first of all, rewarded, as had been promised, with 500 cubal. So 500 cubal for the group. Now, it's not 500 per, but it's 500 cubal total.
I don't know. I think we earned it.
Yeah,
We earned 500 each.
And within...
Level 3, right? Level 3.
Not level 3, but within days of studying this broadcast signal, Tren is talking with you a couple of days later, and once back at the base a couple of times afterwards, and he says, "So, I managed to run enough checks to see what we were dealing with. This right here is a chart of intensity. Has to do with light and broadcast intensity." And he puts up a shot of the galaxy map of the Silrain Arc. And he points to one. He says, "This is our position. here's the data signal coming from it. And you can see this like pulsing light. And he says, so I've discovered that this isn't the only thing transmitting it. In fact, this might be what you would call a rebroadcaster. This is broadcasting from another signal, a much, much stronger one. And he points up at the chart. And as he points up at the chart, you can see that pointing at a completely deserted, isolated area of the outer zones of the Silrain Arc is this intense, bright, and large pulsing light, pulsing at the same rate as the globe, but much, much brighter. And Tren looks at all of you and says, now what do you suppose that might be? And that is where we will bring the final command to an end. So, you are now, in answer to the previous question, level 2. Not level 3,
Yay.
level 2.
Finally.
And
Twice
that-
the amount
and
of
that's-
levels I had than the first time.
That's right. And both groups are, because remember, your other party was already level 2. So you are now, your D&D group is level 2, and your Esper Genesis group is level 2. And I will say that in the next session, we will return to the D&D group as you are back on the planet's surface, where you are trying to run after, being on the run from the peoples around you. So, good stuff, everyone. That was, I had warned everyone this was going to be a combat-heavy session, but that was a lot. And that was very close. Jaraxxus, you, like Zach, Jaraxxus was in big
Skin of my
trouble.
teeth, huh?
Yeah, I don't know what would have happened. I assume at that point they would have just had to, like, maybe Zerial or someone, Titus, tries to push you, or Zerial grabs you and, like, pulls you. I can't imagine you would have stayed around to fight at that point if you went down. But I was not sure how you were going to handle that. I thought that maybe you would stay around, fight the ships or something, and then try to. I didn't know what you would do, but you got the globe free, and part of it was that in combat you all were hitting like no one's business. You hit at least 65-70% of the time with radiant damage. That shot that you hit with Johnny with Titus was big. Zerial had a couple of big shots in there too. So there were some really good combat shots. It was good stuff. I will start, first of all, with Zach, working in reverse order as I usually do. I was loving the sort of selfie video Jaraxxus thing. That was cracking me up as usual. But yeah, I honestly thought when they targeted you and hit you that you were in big trouble, because it was 1d10, like I said, but they rolled 3. So it was just enough to stay out of range. And you literally, you all destroyed one literally on the passageway to your ship. I mean, that was how close it was. So we'll see what happens with that and what people are going to think about Jaraxxus going forward. How'd you feel about today's session? Where will the fine folks find you next?
I felt pretty good about today's session. Hey, I'm still alive. I got 1 hit point. 1's all you need.
That's right.
So
Now
I'm
you're back up to 9. I think you've probably recovered.
yeah.
Right?
And in fact, probably gained some.
You will gain hit
to be
points. Yeah,
honest.
that's right.
So yeah, that very exciting. That was definitely a situation where I could imagine that could have gone a million different ways.
Yes.
So glad we got the beacon and whatever it's homing us to as well. I have a feeling it's the planet, but what on the planet is the question. And
Indeed.
of course, returning to our D&D characters will be a lot of fun as well. And it's a lot of fun to be the pioneers of this this new old adventure.
Yeah, it really is.
So yeah, the fine people can find me on this channel for this game, of course. Also for our vocalists, where we'll be starting. Have we announced what the game is that we're going to be voicing next?
I believe we had. It's going to be Citizen Sleeper, which is the
Yes.
game that I started playing as the Patreon fueled game of the month, I think, and then I just thought it works really well actually for voice acting. So that's what we're going to be doing next.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. People will also find me on my own channel occasionally, and by occasionally I mean almost never. And then you'll also find me. I made a video for Wizards of the Coast, and it's out. It's been out for a little bit, talking about the work that my students and I are doing with D&D clubs here in the Bay Area. So give it a watch. There was a Polygon article that I was in the gaming magazine. There's a few other things. So yeah, but lots of D&D has been my life for a lot of recent time. So yeah, that's another place you'll find me.
Good stuff.
One more thing.
yes.
Also, I'm a part of a Alien Cinematic Universe campaign, as in Alien, the Xenomorphs, on the Unmade Gaming channel, where Little Red Dot, who's also on this channel, runs a game within the Alien universe, and we're probably going to get eaten by Xenomorphs soon. So check that out on Unmade Gaming.
Yeah,
All right,
for
that's
some
it for
reason,
me.
it's all Dead Space at the same time. I thought it very
Yes.
appropriate for the month of October. But thanks, Zach. Good stuff. And yeah, we will be in touch about other things as well soon.
Yes.
Always a pleasure. Moving Ryan up and around the line in reverse order again. I think Toya was next, I believe. And so, Toya, Dr. Winterfield was in a little bit of a tough spot. I mean, there are definitely things that within combat you'll be able to do as an adept. And so, but I understand that it was kind of a difficult situation because the party was almost by default split, and so hold on one.
Jazz hands.
Sorry about that. My daughter was just saying goodnight. So what was I saying?
It's as an adept.
Oh yeah.
It was
So there's other
difficult.
things that could be done, but you were, because sort of like, but default, your party was sort of split up, and so that made things a little bit difficult. And I know you had your suspicions about what was going on with Tren, Megacorps, and all this stuff, and what they were doing. But in the end, you had, and then you had to deal with the Runewake situation with the 3 fighters that came in also while you were piloting the ship, because Tren was on the other side of the ship. So that's all part of not only learning a new character, but also dealing with a kind of weird, very fluid situation. But you got through it somehow. So how did you feel about it, and how did you feel about the session, and where will the fine folks find you?
Yeah, I'm just happy I didn't get the whole party bodied with my garbage rolls.
Yeah, those one more would have been bad.
Yeah.
That would have been bad.
It was, all of the talents that Dr. Winterfield has, they're of no use unless she's very close to whomever she's targeting. So yeah. Yeah, I guess Tren is all right. I still, but anyway. Also, I have a guess about what's going on with the signal too. I think it's the cultists down on the planet. I think we saw maybe an effect of that when they disappeared on the stage. I think if that's not the signal, then it is something very similar. That's my guess. Yeah, like I said, I feel great about the session because everybody's still alive. I didn't kill nobody, so I'm happy about that. You will see me here. That is the next place you will find me. I am on social media, but I'm not very active. If you do follow me on Twitch, you can get a lot of dog photos and dog videos and such. So I'm looking forward to next session.
Good stuff. Thank you, Toya. It's always a pleasure. And was, again, a pleasure to have Kat with us. Some big shots out of Zeriel. And again, this was, because of the weirdness of the situation, it made it difficult, I know, for Zeriel to be able to do stuff like hacking into things. Like, those are all things that do make sense, but in your position, you were kind of in between areas, so you didn't just have, like, a terminal sitting around where you could hack into things. So you had to use the more shooty, method.
Well,
of your
I
abilities,
gotta say, I'm kind of glorying in a high dex character. This is very cool.
Yeah.
Hitting every time. I like
Welcome.
this.
Yeah,
we swapped.
Yeah.
Some
I
big
have a
shots that were hit there.
negative dex now.
How did you feel about stuff tonight, Kat, and where will the lovely folks find you next?
I felt it was a lot of fun, as always. I'm also looking forward to going back to the D&D characters, because I gotta say I like them a lot too. Where will people find me? You'll find me on Twitter, and actually, if people are interested, I just announced that I've got a sale on classes going through the end of the year. So
Ooh,
if
nice.
you will forgive me, I will put that
Yeah, please.
in the chat for people.
Definitely.
And it's got a pin giveaway. So if you're interested in winning a pin, check it out.
Oh man, absolutely they would. Thank you, Kat. I should note before I forget to the players that at the beginning of next session, I would like you folks to take a look so that you can level up your characters in terms of abilities and stuff before next session. But
Right.
if you're willing, I wouldn't mind having you roll hit points if you're going to roll them. I wouldn't mind you doing that on stream because that's always fun for chat. But that's up to you. For the rest of that, I would like you to decide what you want to do for level 2 and or drop me messages to consult, if you have questions about stuff to do with that.
Got it.
But thank you, Kat. Always a pleasure. And last but certainly not least, Johnny. Titus had a lot of stuff going on here, whether it was trying to hotwire the thing, which couldn't quite work, and then and then trying to like run up the other way, and then firing, and again, like took off a serious chunk of hit points off of that thing. Then picking up the globe, sort of running with the globe, then firing it again. Honestly, you basically had a turn before you were going to have two fights going on, the starfighter shooting the ship inside, and then it was quite possible that you could have gotten into something out there. And so I was unsure. I was like, man, I don't know what happens if you don't make this shot. So it was close. How did you feel about, but you made it is the point. How did you feel about today's session? Where will the fine folks find you next?
Titus is a space rodent of some, effort and renown. So Titus is going to get himself into as much trouble as possible in all the best ways. I mean, so I'm enjoying playing the character and doing the whole fun sort of voice like puppet thing, but realistically, this character is a lot more like action oriented. I'm envisioning that we're given where we are and what we're doing, this is a lot more like sort of Flash Gordon, 1930s, 40s, and 50s serials kind of a thing. The stuff that, really inspired George Lucas, and that's where Titus is coming from. So he is definitely going to be the space rodent of action.
Space
I thought it was great.
action.
Right. It's I don't even know how to really kind of describe it other than I don't think last time I played a character that was more sort of forward and over the top and fun. Aramis was a grump for lack of a better way, and I wanted to do something completely different, and Titus is turning out to be that fun different. But yeah, so that was a lot of fun, and I liked how everybody was doing interesting and different things as a part of it, and just kind of worked out towards the end as we were basically running up to the line and just kind of finding ourselves in a situation where, boom, we were going to die if we didn't get the ship moving. So, fine folks will find me here next. Got nothing else going on right now. There's a bunch of big things happening in real life, so I will see you guys on the 22nd. And otherwise, yeah, that's about it.
Good stuff. And yes, we will be back here on the 22nd. Chat, 1,209 bits is what was cheered today. You have your last chance if you want to throw one more cheer these folks' way to close out September-ish, because this is kind of part of that. And then the next time you will see these folks will be on the 22nd, when we will return to our normal Saturday times and off of Sunday. But we'll be doing that. So if anyone wants to throw one more cheer their way, you can. Otherwise, they have reached level 2, and we will be moving into the next part of the expedition for the Mysterious Peaks campaign as we return to our D&D players in our next session. So I will say thank you then to the players. Thank you to Johnny Pittman. Thank you to Cat Rambo. Thank you to Toya Kristen Finley. Dragonsphere has cheered one more bit so we can have it be nice and even. 1,210 bits. Thank you very much, Dragon.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Oh.
More coming in. More coming in.
Thank you.
That's not true. That's not true. There's more coming in. Wayman Wolf has thrown some more in. 1, 2, 3, 400 more. Thank you, Wayman Wolf. So that means 1,610 for the players. Awesome. Thank you. I'm really glad that we're able to do that. So that will be September's total will be 1,610. Thank you so much to the players. Can we get some love, chat, as you've already given them some love for Johnny, for Toya, for Kat, and for Zach. Good work, players. You made it through, and I will talk to you folks on the 22nd about what happens next down on the planet, as they say. Bye for now.
Thanks, everybody.
Farewell.
All right. So that is going to do it for that. And thank you again, chat, for those extra bits, because that definitely was helpful. And we did it. We actually had a decent turnout for Sunday on a day that I normally do not stream. I mean, other people you know often do, but I usually do not stream. But usually, let me just stop that for a second. I do not usually stream, but on a Sunday, but they do. Other people do, and it was great to see people stopping by, and that was really intense. I mean, I knew coming into this that this was going to be a shorter session than normal, and I knew coming into it that it was going to be combat oriented because of what was set up basically by what they had last time. So, last couple of sessions we'd had not combat specific. This was more combat. So, these things always balance out over time, but it is really setting up nicely for what's going to happen. You're going to tip 90 times? Oh, man. No, you did enough tonight. I am grateful, Dragon Spear. Thank you to everybody who helped and jumped on board, including Waymond and all the rest. So, and Rudnell and others. So thank you, everybody. But yeah, so that was good times. And I cannot wait to show you what happens next when the next session comes in, and when they're all part of the process of what happens next. It's going to be good times. So, but that is going to do it for me. I'm going to be not on tomorrow, of course. I will be on Tuesday, though, and on Tuesday we'll be doing some more Lost in Random. And on Tuesday, I will also have a chance to go over the calendar, because the schedule is just about fit, been sort of fallen into place. We have a couple of changes that we had to make. We have one change being made for Adventures in Middle-earth schedule-wise, which is going to affect us through the end of the year. We also have one schedule change related to CanCon. So we have those kinds of things. So there's some other sort of movements. October has had some other stuff pop up. Not in a bad way. It's all good stuff, but it's stuff that means that we have to kind of move things around. November should be more settled in again. But yeah, we're going to have a lot of awesome sessions though this month, and I am very excited that we happen to lead off October by the power of the Expedition for the Mysterious Peaks crew. If you like what you saw and heard, please follow the channel. Please check out our YouTube with !ArvTube, Discord with !ArvCord, Twitter with !Arv tweets. Website is arvineleron.com. Financially, !ArvShop is the merchandise area. Arv Treon is the Patreon that's sitting right there, which is the thing which allows me to put in money into that amazing video that you saw, the overlays that you saw, which are done, of course, by Hoodie, which he did a great job with those. The video done by Mike with music from Chronowolf, and I'm able to do that because of the Patreon, for example. So, and it also supports my writing. So thank you to all of those who have done that, and otherwise, I'm still happy to have you all consider doing more of it. That would be absolutely lovely. Give me just 1 second here. I want to check something quick. No, that's fine. I don't know what that is. I don't know what the deal is. Anyway, yes, so Arvtreon and the shop. Subbing to the channel, as several people did today, is always appreciated. Please consider subbing to the channel. It pays for the chocolate coins. Oh, I wish. Someday, Dragon. Someday when I grow up. And when everything gets to be the way it is. But the Patreon and subs are really important. Again, you can get those custom sub badges and emotes and inspirations. I will be resetting those inspirations by the time we do our next tabletop session. But that's, I've had other grading work I had to do as well. And it's literally October 2nd today. So we've only just switched over the month. But I'll be doing those inspirations soon. And actually the calendar will be available well ahead of time. So that's good. I am very glad about that. Otherwise, you'll accept cookies or brownies. I see how it is. Just 1 second here. Okay. That's fine. That's the same. Okay, good. So yes, then we have got the publishing side of things. Icarus is my Icarus graphic novel from Athos Arts, the award-winning graphic novel from the award-winning Athos Arts. Library is my Tales and Tomes, The Forbidden Library. That's my 5e adventure and source book from the company which sponsors this campaign, Alligator Alley Entertainment. And of course, Greyshade is my Greyshade novel, which came out from Athos on May 31st. the link that you have there will allow you to order that book direct from the publisher. You can also pre-order Renegade and Heretic from which is going to be the 2 sequels to those books. That's coming out 2023 and 2024, and the tabletop role-playing game being designed by Brandon O'Brien. That will also be coming out next year in 2023. And we have Tren, not the Tren from today, but actual Tren Sparks Tren, who is going to be doing the audiobook for Greyshade, and that also is available for pre-order at that link. So please go over there and spread the word about that, please, too, because that stuff is really important, and we're still selling those books while I'm continuing to do my editing work and all that stuff on Renegade, and that stuff will continue to move forward. Finally, as always, last but not least, exclamation point BLM, Black Lives Matter. Very important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. Exclamation point Help Now, the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention. Very important to reach out to others when you need help and to reach out to others when they need help as well. And exclamation point Ukraine, UKRAINE, which is helping the people of Ukraine as they have fought back against a devastating and destructive war with confidence and courage and bravery, but it is devastating. So this is our way to step up and help them, even in a small way, for the fight. We are going to do a raid tonight because we had some decent numbers of people tonight, and because it's not super late. So it's very simple. If you are not a sub, you're going to do the Arvanauts Have Landed followed by Twitch raid, lowercase Twitch, uppercase R, lowercase AID. If you are a sub, you're going to do that same thing, but you're also going to add in Arvany Hype, Arvany Roar, Arvany Woe, Arvany Witch, Arvany Smug, Arvany Love, Arvany Blown, all the Arvanys that you can get your little hands on, you can throw out there as we head over to the place where we're going to raid. And I know exactly who that person is going to be. And it's been a little while actually since I've rated them, a bit of time. So I'm looking forward to that. Otherwise, I'll be back on Tuesday, and I want to thank the wonderful mods who are the best in the business: Arudinel, Dragonspear, Emily the Honored, Rock God, Triffity Mats, all the best. I want to thank as well the Patreon supporters and subscribers to the channel: Arudinel, Dragonspear. Thanks for all the cheers from everyone too. Arudinel, Dragonspear, Emily, Rock God, Triffity Mats, Crit Twitch, Mrs. Dunsel, Prince Justin, and Waymond Wolf. Thank you all. Thanks for the inspirations used as well. Thank you for Adrian Barbero. Thank you for Alien Gathering. Thank you to Eturo. Thank you to Ibrahim. Thank you to Instructor. Lakaylee Lanaray. Thank you to Paula Arugi. Thank you to Shrimps. Thank you to Social Streamer Grow. I'm sure that's not a bot. Thank you to Valentina Alcaraz. Thank you to Video Store Cowboy. Thank you to Zyphim. And thank you, of course, to Exploding Dice for the raid earlier tonight. And most of all, thank you to all of you. Thank you to Alligator Alley for sponsoring us. And thank you to my players. Thank you one last time to Johnny Pippin, to Cat Rambo. Thank you to Toya Kristen Finley. And thank you to Zach Clay for being amazing. Otherwise, as soon as the video is over, we're going to go raid. So please, until you do that, please stick around for the raid. Thank you so much for being here. And I will see you folks on Tuesday afternoon for some more Lost in Random and October getting underway. Until then, as always, everyone be good to each other. Thanks for stopping by on a Sunday, and I'll catch y'all soon. Have a good night.
I hit him and did